So we've captured the test numbers for the Hyundai Genesis Coupe and the Camaro at the Chelsea Proving Grounds. The acceleration and braking were nearly equal. Now it's time for some real-world driving, so we're taking the cars to a hilly, curvy road in southern Ohio. Frank and I will do one big lap each, if you will, trade cars, compare notes. So let's get to driving. So here we are in the Chevy Camaro. This is going to be familiar to anybody who's driven a Camaro before, whether from the late 60s or the early 90s, or 2002, which is when production ended before the 7-year drought. The car feels and handles like as you would expect a Camaro to feel and handle. It's got 300 pounds on the Hyundai Genesis. So we've got about almost the same horsepower and a little bit more torque versus the Hyundai Genesis, but it's got 300 extra pounds. It actually feels as quick, and our test results show that it can keep up with the Hyundai in 0 to 60 and almost keep up with it in quarter mile. It has a really nice throttle tip and nice quick takeoff, first, second gear. However, around the twisty hills of southern Ohio, you feel that extra 300 pounds. It's a bigger car, it's a heavier car. It feels like it. It's harder to place through a corner. You don't have enough steering feel for this kind of car. You feel yourself backing off into turns more than you need to because you're not sure what the front tires are doing. Handling's pretty good. It's got good grip and it will get you around corners quickly enough, but it's just not as light and nimble as that Hyundai. That said, the one thing that brings this car dragging and kicking into the 2010s is the V6 engine. It's the same gas direct injection 3.6 liter V6 as in the Cadillac CTS. It makes the same 304 horsepower. It's got a different kind of sound to it, of course. The sound tuning is different than a Cadillac CTS. And when you step into it, it's got a nice rasp to it. But that is the most modern element of this car mechanically. It's nice and efficient and quick and keeps up with the slightly larger engine in the Hyundai Genesis. If you were around during the mid-1970s, you remember the Toyota Celica. It was this small Japanese sport coupe designed to take on the Ford Mustang, Chevrolet Camaro, Dodge Challenger, Plymouth Barracuda. This is the modern equivalent of that, if you will. It's rear-wheel drive. It's part of Hyundai's first rear-drive platform, which includes the Genesis sedan. And in this case, it's available with a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, or our version right here, the 3.8 liter V6, instead of a V6 and V8 in the case of the American competition. It's, as I mentioned in the Camaro piece, about 300 pounds lighter than a Camaro. This car has the track package, which means that it's pretty stiff and you can really toss it around turns. The steering has some kind of poor on-center feel at speed, but in general, it's pretty good steering feedback. It's a much easier car to drive fast. You can get it into a bit of an impending oversteer situation by hitting the throttle early coming out of a turn. It brings it out just a slight bit without disturbing the nannies if you have the traction and stability control on. Works pretty well. At 8 inches shorter and several hundred pounds lighter than the competition, this is really where Chevrolet, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge need to go in the future if they're going to continue to do small pony car muscle cars like this. In the next 5 or 10 years, with stricter CAFE regulations, with more interest in fuel economy, a small lightweight rear-wheel drive V6 or 4-cylinder powered sporty car is not hard to build. And Hyundai with its new Genesis Coupe has proved that. No question, the new Camaro is a fabulous looking new sport coupe, and its direct injection V6 is plenty of engine for a modern muscle car. On the other hand, the new Hyundai Genesis Coupe is lighter, tauter, smaller, better handling. If there is any future for rear drive sport coupes, cars like the Hyundai Genesis is it. And it's our choice among these two in this comparison.